The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn up my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take it all back. Rise up, take it all back. Rise up. Hope you all understand. We've got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
What is up, everybody? How are you doing? Happy Monday. Is that what people say in the work field? Somebody in Riddle Girl's work had said that earlier today. She does meetings online, from home. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope your Monday was all right, though. What's up, Gerald B? How are you doing? Doing great. Good. And Mr. Tommy Boy 9 is here. And so is Armed Archangel. Wait, can't understand why is Billy Gates is requesting privacy and respecting concerning his divorce when he can't give privacy nor respect. Really? I did not hear this, but apparently Bill Gates is getting a divorce from Melinda? Wow. Breaking news, everybody. I didn't know there was trouble in paradise. What's up, Broken Patriot? I hope you're doing well. And yeah, okay, cool. So for us, we had an interesting weekend. You ever have Saturday? We did not have a Patriot Bible chat. You ever have one of those days that you like plan to be a really good day? Like you're like, it's gonna be the best day. Best fucking day. I'm gonna make sure of it. If come hell or high water, and then it don't, right? That was Saturday. And it is what it is, but we got through that. Sunday was better than Saturday was. But by the time the Patriot Bible chat would have been on Saturday, nah, man. I mean, that probably would have been a good time for me to do it, just because because it was one of those kind of days. But at the same time, I was like, nah, I can't be bringing my best on that, not even a little bit. So I decided to cancel that one. We will keep on doing it though, so don't worry about that. It is in somewhat of a transition because we do enjoy our weekends. We have been enjoying a little bit too much of the alcohol, so we're gonna have to tone that one down a little bit. But that one's fun. I was never a big drinker, ever, like 1 or 2 drinks a year. However, feeling a little good better, being less heavy and having a lot more energy and wanting to do things and that being a thing, it is what it is. So we're trying to work on that yeah. What's up? After 27 years of marriage? Oh, Bill and Melinda? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We got a story from Arn Archangel. Let me go ahead and click that. Yeah. All right, cool. I will read that. And for later, says Liberty Not Licensed. Okay. Let me just skip the ad. It's a 37-minute video, but you've got me a timestamp at 30 minutes. Did you want me to be timestamped at 30 minutes? Not exactly sure. That is a long time to be married to Bill. And you think like, what did it take? 27 years, and now we're gonna, that's it. I've had enough. But let's get to that.
Socks.
Yeah, thank you very much for the follow, Socks. For all my D-Live viewers, thank you very much for being here. I wish I had an alert for when you followed. I do. If you're on YouTube and you subscribe, there's an alert that happens. But D-Live and Stream Elements, which I use in order to get all the alerts, do not play well together. I don't know if it's Stream Elements that haven't gotten to D-Live or D-Live that said no to Stream Elements, but somewhere in there, they've decided not to do that. No, I was jumping around. Oh, okay. So watch the whole thing. All right, got you. Sock says hello. Hello, Socks. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates' wife Melinda Gates announcing divorce after 27 years of marriage. Bill Gates, who co-founded, yeah, we already know that couple who yada yada yada. After a great deal of thought and a lot of work on our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage. They said in a joint statement posted on each other's Twitter feed. What a best place to put it. That's where you announce it, on Twitter nowadays. After the last 27 years, we have raised 3 incredible children and built a foundation that works over the world to enable all the people to lead health, yada, yada, yada. All right, well, there you go. Bill and Melinda Gates, divorced after 27 years. Separation likely surprises many who know the couple as philanthropists. I think we're all surprised on some level. Many of us look up to Bill and Melinda Gates, particularly in the sniffle era. Yeah, because, it's their... Where do you want to get your sniffle shot from? I want to get it from somebody who made a computer in his basement. With his daddy's money. That's exactly where I want to get it from. Marriages that end after 25 to 35 years are called gray divorces, just like the hair color. Okay. Chintz can't tell if the Gates had a pre- or post-nuptial agreement. Either way, she said they won't be suffering financially. I doubt it. Yeah. Sometimes the person you once knew and loved changes. Yep. Some people fall in and out of love, and it's clear that they did. Despite their wealth, they're no different than anybody else. They looked at each other and said, it's time to move on. Money doesn't change that. The couple met in 1987 after Melinda became a product manager at Microsoft and were seated next to each other at a business dinner in New York City. They were married in 1994 in Hawaii. How white privileged of them. In a 2019 Netflix documentary entitled Inside Bill's Brain, Melinda laughed about the memory of finding a whiteboard in Bill's bedroom that listed the pros and cons of getting married. Well, apparently there were some cons. Melinda Gates spent a decade developing multimedia products at Microsoft before leaving to focus on her family and philanthropy. According to the Gates Foundation site, the couple of 3 children, Jen, Roy, and Phoebe. In 2015, Melinda, 56, started Pivotal Ventures, an investment incubator to help solve problems facing women and families. Her book, The Moment of Lift, How Empowering Women Changes the World, was published in 2019. Wow, in 2015, she was 56. Was 40, so she's 16 years. Damn it, they're going to be around a while. At least for me. Like, I might live long enough to see one of them croak. Here's wishing. Anyway. Mass genocide wasn't as stimulating as it used to be. Right. Linda found Bill's stash of plastic dildos. LOMAO. Maybe she found Jesus. Well, maybe, you know what? You can definitely hope for that. Wow, breaking news. I was not expecting that one today. States sue over Biden administration efforts to mask key census identifiers, delay restricting. The fight. Here come other states. More states are suing. Where does the state sue? How do you? I mean, I know if I sue Broken Patriot for, giving me a bad coffee advice, he said to use you, Brandon. Almost gave me a heart attack. I'm suing his ass. I'm expecting some money for my punitive damages. What does the state do when it sues an administration? I'm not exactly sure. Y'all might know that more than I do. If you do, let me know in the comments. The fight over whether the U.S. Census Bureau can use a highly dubious statistical technique to keep people's information private in the numbers used for drawing political districts on Monday went before a judicial panel that must decide if the method provides enough data accuracy. The panel of 3 federal judges heard arguments on whether the method, known as differential privacy, meets the federal legal requirement for keeping private the personnel information of people who participated in the 2020 census while still allowing the numbers to be significantly accurate for the processes of redrawing congressional and legislative districts. Differential privacy adds mathematical noise or internal errors to the data to obscure any given individual's identity while still providing statistically valid information. I hope I got most of those words correct. Because a panel of 3 federal judges will decide the matter, any appeal could go straight to the Supreme Court. It comes as some Republicans in Congress are raising questions over the revised census numbers, which seem to mitigate the losses in several deep blue states where sniffle lockdowns and other authoritarian policies have led to residents to flee over the past 10 years. The first major challenge to the Census Bureau use of differential privacy comes in a lawsuit filed by the state of Alabama and 3 Alabama politicians over a statistical agency's decision to delay the release of data used for the drawing of political districts. Normally, the redistricting data is released at the end of March, but the Census Bureau pushed the deadline to sometime in August at the earliest, ostensibly because of delays caused by the sniffle pandemic. Alabama said the delay was caused by the Bureau's attempt to implement differential privacy, which the state's attorney said will result in inaccurate redistricting numbers. At least 16 other states back Alabama's challenge. Here we go again, which is asking the judges for a preliminary injunction to stop the Census Bureau from implementing the statistical technique. Alabama also wants the agency to release the redistricting data by July 31st. Alabama Solicitor General Edmund LaCour told the judges that the Census Bureau should return to a previous method for protecting privacy where easily identifiable characteristics in a household are swapped with data from another household. Yeah. Why not? Small changes matter when you're dividing up power, LaCour said. John Torchinsky, that's the last time I'm going to try to pronounce that name, a lawyer also representing Alabama, said the little bit of noise the Bureau claims to insert could affect the accuracy of the data and consequently the number of the state majority-minority districts. A majority of the minorities in a racial or ethnic groups make up a majority of a community. Civil rights activists, state lawmakers, and redistricting experts have raised concerns that differential privacy will produce inaccurate data that will skew the distribution of political power in the federal funds. The Department of Justice Attorney Elliot Davis, though, representing the Census Bureau, told the judges that previous methods of privacy protection, such as swapping information around, are not robust enough to guard against someone being able to reverse engineer the data to get people's information. Davis said that computer power has risen exponentially since the early methods were developed for protecting privacy. The new methods used by the Census Bureau protects privacy while providing statistically accurate data, he said. The error evens out, Davis said. Bureau officials said the change is needed to prevent data miners from matching individuals to confidential details that have been rendered anonymous in the massive data release. I have no idea what this stuff. Maybe it is. Maybe that is a problem, you know? Could somebody do something nefarious if they knew your census answers? I didn't think so, but I guess maybe. In a test using 2010 census data, which was released without obscuring technique, the Bureau statisticians said that they were able to re-identify 17% of the U.S. population using information in commercial databases. 17% out of 100. I mean, that's not that great. But it's not horrible either. But University of Minnesota demographer Stephen Ruggles said in a court filing that this would be impossible to do without access to an internal, non-public Census Bureau data. The delay in the release of the redistricting data has sent states scrambling for alternative plans such as using other data, utilizing previous maps, rewriting laws dealing with the deadlines, or asking courts to extend the deadlines. The state of Ohio filed a similar lawsuit over the change deadlines. A federal judge dismissed the case, but Ohio has appealed. The three-judge panel did not indicate when it would rule. Okay. Let's see. Melinda, B.O., maybe they found Jesus. That also riddle. I honestly believe she is wanting out of his evil ideas. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Right here. The state gets our tax dollars. Taxes. Oof. That's a whole other topic that we won't get into right now. How did New York gain in the census count when people have been leaving in droves? Remember, supposedly New York was going to lose 2 seats. Then they were going to lose 1. Then they were going to lose 0, and I guess now they're going to gain seats? The unexpected increase in New York State's population that emerged in the 2020 U.S. Census is casting a shadow of doubt on the accuracy of the final data, experts warn. According to a preliminary analysis published this week by the U.S. Census Bureau, New York has more than 818,000 more residents than were predicted by the department's April 1st, 2020 estimate. The official decennial count shows 20,201,249 residents compared to 19,382,373 predicted by the Census Bureau a year earlier. What we can see here is that at the state level, there are big discrepancies. Lyman Stone, a demographicer who analyzed the report, told the City Square, if we make the case of New York, the count came out higher than what we would expect. New York has been losing residents, according to the Bureau's annual estimate, since 2015, when the total was 19,657,000. The dislocations during the sniffles might have been affecting the data, Stone warned. Amid the pandemic, the Census Bureau offered the chance to fill the census out online last year. Some people moved from New York City to upstate counties and surrounding states could create the opportunity for a pulse double counting, Stone added. In a statement released on April 26, Census Bureau Acting Director Ron Yarman said that the completeness and the accuracy of these first 2020 census results are comparable with recent censuses. One of the discrepancies that raised more doubts among the experts is the standard used by the Census Bureau report. According to the methodology statement, the report was supposed to be based on the estimates of July 1st, 2020 by the Census Population and Housing Estimates Program. Instead, it shows the numbers of April 1st, 2020, separately published by the Census Bureau back in December. This example raises questions about how they used the method and if they modified something else too, Stone added. Decennial census data is used to define the apportionment of House seats and how to allocate $1.5 trillion a year to the states and federal funding across 316 federal programs, a list that includes, among many, Medicaid and highway construction grants. According to the Counting for Dollars program 2020, New York received more than $73.3 billion in a federal funding in 2016 through 55 programs guided by data derived from the 2010 census. I think the discrepancies will have consequences for the control of the House in 2022 as well, said Mark Yaffe. As a result of the 2020 census, the state lost one of its 27 congressional seats, one fewer than many analysts expected. Cuomo's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Okay, that's fine. The Avatar is my restored 54 Chevy truck. Mr. Tommy Boy, you changed your... Oh, no. Yeah, I remember seeing that. That thing was badass, bro. Like, badass. I need to get me an old truck. I got a 2007. It's paid off. It's got almost 150,000 miles, and I'm thinking, man, I could go for like a late 70s truck, you know, get like a diesel. Be nice. I'd like it. I might do it. I don't know how much those usually go for, though. I would imagine they are pretty decent in value because there's getting fewer and fewer of them, and there's people like me that want them. The CDC took cues from teacher unions over school reopenings. The CDC asked the teachers what they wanted to do. What do you think about the whole sniffles? You good with it? You ready to reopen? What do you think? Because we ain't got no idea here at the CDC. That's great. That's exactly what I want from my Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The nation's largest teacher union, the American Federation of Teachers, successfully lobbied for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to delay school reopenings, according to emails obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request. As the CDC was preparing to issue guidance advising all public schools to reopen fully in February, the AFT was lobbying for the agency and other Biden administration officials to encourage schools to remain closed, according to the New York Post. Thank you again for Friday's rich discussion about forthcoming CDC guidance and for your openness to the suggestions made by our president, Randy Weingarten, and the AFT Senior Director for Health Issues, Kelly Tartner, who wrote in one of the emails. We were unable to review a copy of the draft guidance document over the weekend and were able to provide some initial feedback to several staff this morning about possible ways to strengthen the document, Tartner continued. We believe our experience on the ground can inform and enrich thinking around what is predictable and prudent in future guidance documents. In later emails, they thanked the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, for her commitment to partnership with the union. We are immensely grateful for your genuine desire to earn our confidence and your commitment to partnership, Trotner said in an email to them on February. As a result of the AFT's lobbying, the CDC released guidance that encouraged teachers who have documented high-risk conditions or who are at risk for the sniffles to work from home. The CDC also stopped short of calling on schools to reopen, instead opting for color-coded charts that recommended districts in red zones with higher risk of community spread to remain shut down. Shortly after this guidance was released, the AFT praised the CDC, and today the CDC met fear of the pandemic with facts and evidence, the union said in a statement. Well, I'm glad the union got what they wanted from the CDC. And you know what? I'm kind of glad your kids can't go to school. If they can't go into school, for one, they can't be as easily indoctrinated. And I do say as easily. They can still be indoctrinated. You still need to be paying attention. They're not around other children who are also introducing them to things that you may or may not agree with. Please be a parent. Please understand what's going on behind your back, because there's a lot of shit that goes on behind your back. Oh, not my child. My child's special. Yes, your child is having some of the fun that you don't think that they're having when you're not looking. It's how it is. Hey, Stinger, sent you a picture of my night soccer. Where'd you send it? My grandkids have been in school most of the year. They have a few days now and then with remote learning when they get when they get a new case in school. Personally, I mean, I wish I had homeschooled my daughter when she was growing up, and if she was still at home and I was still schooling her, I'd probably take that as a sign, and we would have. I hope that I would have homeschooled her from then on. You know what I mean? Because I was already tempted when she started high school. I was very tempted to homeschool her, but I decided that I thought, well, I was homeschooled, and I was a little awkward, and it's hard for me to get to know people because I didn't have those interactions. That was fun, but all the other interactions of, trying to figure out how to make friends and what's acceptable, I was a little awkward. Ain't gonna lie. I did go to public school, probably 3 years out of all of it, out of all my schooling. I went to Christian school like 7 or 8 years out of it, right? But Christian school is a lot different than public school. You're not allowed to do certain things in Christian schools, right? So I was still weird. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to let my daughter not be weird. She's going to learn all these things and go to school. I really wish I hadn't done that. I think she would have been better off being a little weird, to be honest. But at the same time, she's still a wonderful lady, and I think I did all right overall, But it's one of those things that would have changed. Gmail? Okay. I will check that in a minute. I will check that really soon. Hold on. Ooh, okay. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, I am working on an AR-10. I have not bought any parts for it yet. I hope to buy parts in the 15th, around the 15th. If you guys have anything that you think would be good on it, please let me know. Ooh, is that a sight mark race? It looks like a sight mark race. I like what you did with the flashlight on it. I've been thinking about mounting my light directly on top. I think it comes with the angled one. Yeah, because that one's angled. But I'm thinking about having one that goes straight up from the top. But I don't even have it yet. But I like that setup. I like that setup a lot. That's nice. Maybe I'd still put irons on it. I'd put 45-degree angled sights on it. I had D45 flip out sights. They were those diamond heads. Diamond head sights, D45, they fold down on top of the rail, and then when you deploy them, they fold out to a 45-degree angle. They're really great. The only problem is they like to deploy themselves sometimes, from the recoil, and that kind of stinks. Those are on Kansas Hillbilly Prepper's rifle, and they're not coming off of that because they were put on there for a reason. So if I ever did get that set up and I wanted to have those sights, I'd have to get another set of them. The screen froze. Sorry about that. I moved away. That might have done it. And I hopefully am not frozen anymore. Okay. Buffering a lot. Yeah, we do have some bad connections. At this time at night, for me, this is high peak. I do have the fastest internet here in Phoenix that you can possibly get. I pay a good amount for it. Unfortunately, you still have to worry about speed, and I always have these issues. I've had this internet speed for a long time. Hopefully everything's working well. We're going to go into the next story. I like the build, though. Keep me in your thoughts on that with the AR-10 stuff. If you guys have, like, good deals, I need everything. I have the lower, I have the upper. That's all I got. It's a stripped lower, it's a stripped upper. Obviously, I want a barrel. I'm thinking Ballistic Advantage because it's a good company. I'm thinking 20 inches because I want it to reach out and touch. And other than that, I'm 100% open on good deals and things like that. Anyway, Hillary Clinton thrilled that Biden is pushing leftist agenda as far as possible. Failed 2016 presidential candidate Hillary Clinton said she is thrilled that President Joe Biden is pushing his progressive policies as far as possible. Biden has been able to push the radicals' left agenda and the expansion of the federal government far more than former President Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, in part because of the sniffle pandemic, Hillary Clinton told CNN this weekend. In the Obama administration, the biggest expansion of healthcare that could happen, but it wasn't until the pandemic that I think a truly working majority of Americans crossing party lines, as we've seen because of the approval that Republicans and independent voters are giving Biden, suddenly understood in a clear way that, you know what? There's a lot of times when we need the government, the former Secretary of State explained. Really? If you have Republicans saying, and it could be, there's a lot of people on our side that are scared to death of the sniffles. A lot of us. Because we believe the official word. But a lot of us also thought that 9/11 was exactly how the 9/11 report came out. Nothing to see here. There was a whole bunch of terrorists that did a bunch of bad things on one day. Biden introduced several massive spending packages, including a $1.8 trillion bill that would provide free daycare, paid family leave, free community college, and more. A few years ago, a bill wouldn't have received nearly as much support as it has today, even for Democrats, Ms. Clinton said. We've been exposed as lacking in the kind of investments and support that we as Americans should be providing each other with the government as our partner, she continued. I'm thrilled that President Biden is taking advantage of this moment to try to push the agenda as far as possible. All that is socialism. You're going to raise your taxes, right, so that you can give everybody child care, everybody gets Medicare, everybody gets free college. Where does that money come from? It comes from my wallet. It comes from your wallet. It comes from taxes, which is just a redistribution of wealth. It's socialism. It's 100% socialism. When asked if she was worried Biden's massive spending bill would lead to adverse effects such as inflation, the former New York senator said she is not worried yet. We have seen signs of a very robust economic growth. California, for example, given the existing tax structure, has seen a huge infusion of tax revenue because of the stock market gains and then capital gains that came with those. I think the same is beginning to happen elsewhere in the country. Wait a minute. Because of the stock market gains? Are they putting their tax dollars into the stocks? Is that where my tax dollars are going? Or the state's investments? Probably not, but it's interesting. Yeah, I have the 45 angled sights coming in the mail. Ooh, like, are they permanent 45 degree angled, or are they flip out or fold down? There's a whole bunch of different versions I'm curious on. Okay. Everything okay and have no AR-10 parts. Yeah. Okay, I see what I'm... Yeah, those are nice. I like those. The only reason I liked the D45s, there was two reasons. One, they're cool, and I like cool. That's why I do a lot of the builds that I do, is just because I think it's cool. And two, the other one is that at least then they don't get snagged on things. Like, so this, it's not that much, so the chances of getting snagged are low, but that was one of the reasons for me. Anyway, WAPO, not WAP, New York Times forced to correct the Giuliani story after making a false assertion. Washington Post and New York Times were forced to issue major retractions this weekend after falsely reporting that Rudy Giuliani was warned by the FBI that he was a target of the Russian disinformation campaign during the 2020 presidential election. During its original report, the FBI raid of Giuliani's New York City apartment, the Post claimed the intelligence agency warned Giuliani in late 2019 that he was the target of a Russian influence operation aimed at circulating falsehoods intended to damage President Joe Biden. The Post claimed One American News Network received a similar warning. The New York Times also ran with this claim, writing in this report about the FBI's raid that Giuliani had received a defensive briefing in which FBI agents were cautioning him that some of the information that he was pushing on the Biden family was tainted by Russian intelligence efforts to spread disinformation. Giuliani's lawyer, Robert Costello, denied both reports as totally false. Giuliani never received any such briefing, Costello said in a statement. Both publications were forced to correct the original reports. At the top of the report, the Post included an editor's note that states, "Correction. An earlier version of this story, published Thursday, incorrectly reported that One American News was warned by the FBI that it was a target of a Russian influence operation. That version also said the FBI has provided a similar warning to Rudolph Giuliani, which he has since disputed. This version has been corrected to remove assertions that One American News Network and Giuliani received the warnings. The Times initially edited out its claims about Giuliani and OAN without including an editor's note explaining the correction. Only after facing pushback did the publication include an editor's note at the bottom of its story, which states an earlier version of this article misstated whether Rudolph Giuliani received a formal warning from the FBI about Russian disinformation. Mr. Giuliani did not receive such a so-called defensive briefing. Fake news. Nobody read that correction, most likely. I would imagine not. One thing I can say about the 308 is start getting your ammo now for it, because they ain't had any in stores around here in almost a year. I have seen 308 ammo around me, but it's been a lot of money. I might pick up a box or two when I see it, but I'm not looking to I only have a stripped upper and a stripped lower right now. So I have a ways to go before I start really worrying about the ammunition. You know what? And I don't mind having an empty AR-10. In the city where I'm at now, it's not that big of a deal to have it. I am building this hopefully for the future. I'm building this hoping that I'm going to be moving out into the sticks, or I could actually take advantage of a 20-inch long barrel 308. Because in the city, I can't take advantage of that at all. I mean, I can go out to the range and waste money, but that's not why I want to do it. I want to get it for either hunting or whatever else. I'll also be getting a nice little muzzle brake for it that goes with my suppressor that I already have on my 300 Blackout, because then I can just take the 300 Blackout suppressor off, put it on the 308, and now I got a 308 suppressed with a 20-inch barrel. Win-win for me. I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. Biden has built more wall, has a xenophobic travel... I cannot talk today. Xenophobic travel ban, and more things he promised not to do, signed more tyrant executive orders than any president. Seems like he liked Trump's ideas. Well, if it works, it's as long as it was my idea, it wasn't Trump. Make America great. Buy America? Never heard Trump say that, not once. Who was the actual terrorist in 9/11? Similar to JFK. You know what, Jupiter 5? I have no idea. All I do. Here's the thing. All I'm saying about 9/11, I don't believe it went down the way they said it went down. Do I have any information? No. No, I don't. I just don't buy the official narrative. Only 3 buildings in history, 3 buildings in the world's history that are made out of steel have ever fallen from any kind of fire. And that all happened on one day. So that's weird. And then I got kind of convinced that something was amiss when I watched the whole thing about the Architects for Truth, for 9/11 Truth. And they don't go into detail on who they're blaming either. They're just saying, well, this doesn't work this way because of physics or because of this is how it works. You know what? And I'll take that over somebody like, the planes aren't even there. They were CGI'd into the person's phone back in 2001. The planes weren't even there. That kind of stuff definitely made me believe the official story for a very long time. Because like, I'm not going to believe that. If I believe that shit didn't, happen the way they said, then I'm going to be believing next the planes didn't exist. I believe that the bad people did the bad thing, but other people knew about it. Let's just put it that way. Other people knew about it, took advantage of the situation, maybe added to it. Don't know. Who? No idea. Follow the money. That's usually the best way of doing it. And I do know a few people made a lot of money after that. A lot of money. I hate 45 sights. Just use flip-ups or my optics. Anting the gun does affect the accuracy as shoulder placement changes. You don't like 45-degree angle sights? Just use flip-ups or my optics. So for me, I don't know. I've had great experience with D40 or with the flip outs or the 45-degree angle sights. I only have ever had the one gun to have it. Right? Only Kansas rifle, which is an AR-15. Only that one has it. But I can hit with it like all the time. It's dead on accurate. So I've never had any problems with it. That's also why the Marines don't run for D45 or 45-degree sights. Their testing shows massive drops in accuracy. Okay, good to know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. Can't that. I'm doing well. How about yourself? Let's see. Nice to hear. I was paying around $16 to $18 a box for Remington and Winchester 150 grain soft points. Yeah, the good things about the AR-10 308 Win Barrel is you can also shoot 7.62 by 51 NATO. Oh, really? Because I have a lot. I mean, I don't have it personally. I know a place where they have ammo cans full of 7.62 by 51. If I can shoot that out of a 308, that's a game changer right there. All right. The GOP blowout in Texas bellwether race may be a bad sign for the Biden administration. A decisive Republican win in Dallas special election offered flashbacks of the 2017 for some political watchers, which could mean bad news for the Biden administration and power-hungry congressional Democrats. Them should prepare for a shellacking in 2022, tweeted Fox News' Tammy Bruce, following the GOP's victory in Texas' 6th congressional district on Sunday. After finishing third behind 2 Republican candidates, Democratic Jana Lane Sanchez conceded the race to replace Representative Ron White, who died in February. Sanchez lost by 400 votes to the state legislator Jake Esley, and both trailed by more than 4,200 votes to the frontrunner Susan Wright, the widow of the late congressman. Wright had been endorsed by former President Donald Trump. She will be strong on the border, crime, pro-life. Our brave military and vets will always protect your Second Amendment, Trump wrote. Coming from Trump, the guy that wants to take guns first and due process second. She will never let you down. Well, then she'd do more than what you've done. Vote today. Wright led in the race with 19.21% of the vote, which was divided among 23 candidates, including 11 Republicans and 10 Democrats, easily received 13.75%. The two GOP vote leaders, Wright and Easley, now face a June 5th runoff since neither received an outright majority of more than 78,000 voters. On Monday, Trump, who is considering another run for the White House in 2024, oh God help us all, credited himself for the last-minute surge in Wright's campaign. Please explain to the Democrats and the rhinos that the reason Texas '06 completely shut out Democrats in Saturday's jungle primary, that doesn't seem like a good word to say, is because of my endorsement of Susan Wright, who will surge last week after receiving it, he wrote in a statement. Democrats were shut out, and now it'll be a contest between two Republicans. A very big win, he continued. It would be nice, however, if the pundits and the fake news media would state the real reason for this unprecedented Democrats have never been shut out before victory. Oh, okay. They've never been shut out. They were shut out. Holding Texas's 06 seats was special concern given the narrow House margin, which could dwindle back down to 5 seats following the Texas runoff. That margin would be even smaller, except that Representative Steve Stivers from Ohio is resigning in mid-May to take a private sector position leading his state's Chamber of Commerce. Several Democrats' vacancies also remain due to Congress people accepting positions in the Biden administration and the death of Representative Elise Hastings from Florida. A Republican upset by New Mexico State Senator Mark Moores in June 1 race to replace Interior Secretary Deb Haaland could be the next big indicator of Democrats, warning political futures in the leading up to next year's midterm election. The Ohio races to replace both Sivers and Housing and Urban Development Secretary Marcia Fudge are scheduled for November 2nd. 2 Louisiana special elections have already occurred to fill the seats left vacant by Representative Luke Letlow, a Republican who died before being sworn in. Well, that sucks. And ex-Representative Cedric Richmond, who was named Biden's Director of Office of Public Engagement. Victory lap. Whatever the implications may be for shifting dynamics in the House, Republicans will certainly argue that Texas race was a symbolic victory. It puts political wind at their backs while conveying voters growing dissatisfaction with President Biden, who celebrated his first 100 days. All right, that's all I'm going to read about that. What's up, Day We Remember? How are you doing tonight? Got a couple people in D Live. That is awesome. Just so you know, if you do end up following on D Live, I don't get a notification for it. I do apologize for that. I use Stream Elements to run this and to push it out to YouTube and to D Live at the same time. Unfortunately, D Live and Stream Elements don't have an agreement or something, so I don't get alerts. I'm lucky enough I can read your guys' chat, and I'm grateful for that because D Live is an amazing place. Absolutely love it. I have not been censored on D Live yet. I did accidentally not stream to D Live a few nights because I couldn't figure out my two-factor identification. Oh man, that was a whole ordeal. It took like over a week, I think, to figure that one out. But luckily, we are back on D Live, so that's good. And get this, Disney Prince is getting Me Too'd for forcibly kissing sleeping Snow White. It appears that even the self-described happiest place on Earth, some woke millennials may need a safe space. In the latest battle of the culture war, it's Snow White versus the Snowflakes. During California's lengthy sniffle shutdown, a beloved Disney ride underwent a few improvements according to an article in San Francisco Gate. The park is set to unveil Snow White's Enchanted Wish, a revamp of Snow White's Scary Adventures, which opened in 1955, but was recently criticized for being too frightening for today's children. Oh my goodness. Most notably, though, Disney replaced the last stretch of the ride, which saw the movie's evil queen plummeting to her death, with a new scene that Me Too activists may consider to be even more triggering. The new grand finale is the moment when Prince finds Snow White asleep under the evil queen's spell and gives her a true love's kiss to release her from her enchantment, wrote SF Gate. a kiss he gives her without her consent while she is sleeping, which cannot possibly be true love if only one person knows that it's happening. The complaint illustrates the troubling position that Disney faces after having long embraced politically correct virtue signaling and even having hopped on board the cancel culture bandwagon. Comes from the company that did Song of the South. If you have a copy of Song of the South, hold on to it. That's going to be worth a lot of money. I know me and Riddle are always looking for it, and if we find it, we're definitely holding on to it. The company was unapologetic for firing Mandalorian star Gina Carano in February. Oh, really? That sucks. Prompting CEO Bob Chapek to grandstand during Disney's shareholding meeting about his desire to promote a world of harmony and peace that it was his duty to social engineer. The fact is that we have a tremendous opportunity now to bring this country back together and unite people. I don't think so. Chapek said in an rationale for firing a conservative star over her social media post. One thing we can all agree on is the power of Disney is to unite us all, as long as we're not conservatives. Because we're all racist. Because you can't even do an OK symbol without being a racist. But it seems Disney's only power may be to unite everyone against it. Haven't we already agreed that consistent in early Disney movies is a major issue, said SF Gate in reaction to the Snow White assault. That teaching kids that kissing, when it hasn't been established if both parties are willing to engage, is not okay. The San Francisco outlet said it was especially disappointed to see Disney lapsing into its old ways after it had made such progress in capitulating to leftist demands previously. It is hard to understand why Disneyland of 2021 would choose to add a scene with such old-fashioned ideas of what a man is allowed to do with a woman, especially given the company's current emphasis on removing problematic scenes from rides like Jungle Cruise and Splash Mountain, said the article. What was wrong with Splash Mountain? Why not reimagine an ending in keeping with the spirit of the movie and Snow White's place in the Disney canon, but that avoids this problem? It continues. Well, how do you wake her up? Does she kiss herself and find her own true inner beauty? It's probably what it is. She probably figures out, she accidentally, she got an itch. Oh, I flicked the bean. I love myself now. The problem is a far cry generations before, when Disney's biggest criticism was that Disneyfication of its stories overly sugar-coated what were otherwise dark and gritty tales of folklore connected by writers like the Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen. Yeah. Everything Disney has ever done that has made them money, at least that got them to where they are now, was all other people's work. Yeah, they reimagined it. They made it more palatable, but what did they actually come up with? Mickey Mouse? I guess. Mickey Mouse. That's what they came up with on their own. In the Brothers Grimm version, which was likely considered the source material for the 1938 animated feature Snow White, was actually, she was not actually awoken with a kiss. And now the king's son had it carried away by his servants on their shoulders, says the story. And it happened that they stumbled over a tree stump, and with the shock of the poisonous piece of the apple which Snow White had bitten off came out of her throat. Okay, well, there you go. That's how they should rewrite it then. At least that is original story. Disney didn't, rewrite that for whatever reasons they wanted to. So, yeah, they should do that. However, other parts of the tale that Disney omitted may not be to all tastes, such as the evil queen's Hannibal Lecter-like turn when the hamstrung brings her back the vital organs of a bear cub. And as a young bear just then came running by, he stabbed it out and cut out its lung and liver and took them to the queen as proof that the child was dead, says the story. The cook had to salt them, and the wicked queen ate them. And the thought she had eating the lung and the liver of Snow White. While they may have preferred cannibalism to date rape, the Grimms did have at least one story involving a non-consensual kiss their version of the Little Briar Rose, aka Sleeping Beauty. But in that, in turn, was a romanticized retelling of the Charles Perrault tale, in which the prince's mother attempts to eat her own grandchildren. Crazy world we're living in. Even back then, it was nuts. Perrault's tale was itself a toned-down version of Gambastia's Basel, Sun, Moon, and Talia, in which the unconscious maiden is raped and gives birth to twins, who then dislodge the enchanted splinter from her finger while attempting to nurse. Fortunately, all meets with happier fates than the Little Mermaid. Actually, the Little Mermaid, the original story of the Little Mermaid, she turns into sea foam. So she dies. So happy ending on that one. Yeah, fortunately, all meet happier fates than the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid did not meet a happy fate in the stories. Hold on now. Let me catch up. Yes, get them. Okay, hold up. Nice to hear. Doing well. I was paying around $16 to $18 a box. Okay, I read that. Molten steel seen pouring out of tower and thermite seen on cut beams. 9/11 stuff. Yep, Gerald. Yes, get them. Hey, hell, I'll cash app you if you can get me some. The 762x51. Yeah. I will be looking for it. Riddle, could you write a note down next time I see 762x51 to pick it up? And Armed Archangel will figure out if I have to send him some. I mean, I saw ammo cans of it a few weeks ago for a really good price, like old prices. And I only know it's old prices because I was at the time buying 5.56 green tip at old prices. I was paying $8 for a box of 20 green tip X-Tac PMC. And right next to it was 762x51, which I don't have, so I didn't buy any, in ammo cans, massive amounts. I think it was like, I don't even know. I don't even know how much it was, or as far as how many rounds. But it was a 50 cal can, so if you know how many can fit in a 50 cal can, that was pretty much it. Not saying I'm an engineer, but steel beams melted at 45-degree angles, WITG, molten pools of liquid metal below them, sounds a little fishy. Well, I know there's a lot of little metal spheres all over the place that they explain. But as I said, I'm a dumb person. I'm not smart. But, you know, I watch smart people say smart things, and I'm like, okay, makes sense to my brain. That expansion of the soft points do have lots better killing power or stopping power. You can run the 762x51 into 308, but not the other way around. 308 has a higher pressure. Okay, gotcha. It's kind of like a 357. Oh, I did not know that. That is cool. That definitely makes me want an AR-10 now, because that's the one reason I would love to have a 357 Magnum or a 44 Magnum, right? Is the option of using different ammunition. Absolutely love that. NATO 762 cases are thicker walls, so hold less powder in them. Meanwhile, squids are forcing women in Japanese cartoons. Yes, I've seen that. That's disgusting, but it's what it is. Some people like that. I kind of like the 308. Both me and my wife have a Remington 742 Woodmaster in 308. That's cool. I'm looking forward to doing it. I really am. I've been wanting an AR-10 for a long time. I'm going to get it custom coded. I don't know what yet. If I'm staying in Arizona, I would get it with a Diamondback rattlesnake pattern. And if not, I'll probably get it wrapped or hydro dip. If not, then I might do like, well, it depends on where I go. Depends. But there's a couple ideas. I always wanted a pure white one, or a white camo, digital camo, or maybe not even digital, but just like a white camo. Because I love the snow thing, but at the same time, I don't live in the snow, so I don't need it. Woodmasters are a good rifle. If you're hunting deer-sized targets, then the 150 grain soft points are the great. Black bear, elk, moose, then 180 grain. Never probably. I don't see me hunting a bear or moose. If I had the opportunity, I would jump on it. Here's the thing. My whole life, let's get a little personal. Y'all, a lot of you, some of you new ones might not know this. I've been overweight my entire life. At my heaviest, I was at 525 pounds. That was about 20 years ago. I'm down to under 270 pounds. I had recently gotten the gastric bypass surgery, so I've lost about 100 pounds since August of last year. I'm at this point now where I can do things I've never been able to do before. And when we went to the trip to Texas, I had made it my mission that because we were going there with Cuz, we were going there with Pre-Dawn, right? Cuz grew up down there, and Pre-Dawn is a pretty fit dude, right? So I told myself, I'm going to hang with him. For my whole life, I couldn't hang with people. Like, if they were doing a lot of things, I couldn't do it because I was either too big, I couldn't fit in it, or I got tired real quickly and I had to sit down, or my back was hurting. And there's a whole bunch of shit. Whole bunch of reasons why I could never hang, right? Oh, do you want to go hunting? I would love to go hunting, but I can't walk that far. So I can't go hunting. Yeah, you got to walk a long way, and then you got to haul the dead animal all the way back. Yeah, that's going to be hard. I guess not. Those are the kind of things that I had to say no to. So when we went to Texas, I was like, nope, I'm not saying no to anything. If there's something to be done, even if it scares me, I'm going to fucking do it. And I did. There was a couple things that scared me, and I still fucking did. One of them's right there, right? It was kind of... But I was glad I did it. And it's the same thing now. Like, if I get the opportunity to hunt a bear or moose, I can't eat it. Well, I mean, I could probably put some of it away, but it'll go bad before I could ever eat it all because I can't eat that much. So there's really no horrible need. But however, as long as it's going to be eaten by somebody, I'm on board. Let's go. I ain't saying no to shit. My younger years, 30-06, 7mm Remington mag were and still are great, but the 308 has a lot less recoil and isn't that much slower than the 30-06. 30-06 has more of a reach and out and touchy around, yeah. If you happen to run into them, let me know. I will, Armed Archangel. I got it all written down. We are planning to go to a store that will sell it. It's actually the store that I found it. It's the store. We're planning on going to that store to pick something else up. When I'm there, I will look. And if I see it, I will pick it up. Or I will email you. You know, if you're on my Discord, if you were on my Discord, it'd be easy. I can immediately, it's like a text messaging service too. I could immediately, hey, at Armed Archangel, I found some ammunition. Here's a picture of it. This is how much it is. How many do you want? And you'd be like, oh, yes, I want that many. And I'll be like, okay, I'm buying it right now. That's how fast. It's pretty quick. So check out my Discord server if you want to get those fast messages. Yeah, the email thing works, but it's a lot slower, just so you know. All right. My grandfather, a gunsmith, gun dealer, and a trap shooter, died over a year ago, and we finally went through his overflow. My God, beautiful. Oh, that's cool. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so we have done all the stories. That's the one I'm saving for later. This is DeSantis announced he's suspending all sniffle orders. All right, cool. And these were your sites. All right, we're going to watch a little bit of this, and then we're going to end it.
It's literally an annual event now when somebody is on television or photographed somewhere holding their hand in a certain way that mentally ill people on Twitter, as usual, hallucinate is some secret white supremacist code. And this time it happened to a Jeopardy contestant. Kelly Donahue returned for his fourth episode in a row, having won the previous three. And at the beginning of the show, the announcer was announcing that, and he made this hand gesture, signifying that he had 3 wins. And that's when all hell broke loose on Twitter. But since Twitter is the engine that drives the crazy train of our modern society, the craziness spilled over, and this is now a major national news story. As word of the idiocy kept growing, he posted on Facebook that there was no hidden message behind the hand sign, and it simply signified that he had 3 wins under his belt. And that was his first mistake. Never try to explain something logical to illogical people, especially when they're mentally ill. Like the Bible says, don't cast your pearls before swine. And if that wasn't bad enough, then he made his fatal mistake. He deleted that and then posted what is perhaps the most pathetic apology in all of internet history. And I quote, "I'm truly horrified by what has been posted about me on social media. I
So many racists out there, didn't you know that?
unequivocally condemn white supremacy and racism of any kind. People who know me personally know that I am not a racist, but for the public at large, it bears repeating, I am not a racist, and I reject and condemn white supremacy and all forms of bigotry for the evil they are. It's shameful for me to think anyone would try to use the stage of Jeopardy to advance or promote such a disgusting agenda. During the taping of my 4th episode, I was simply raising 3 fingers to mark my 3rd win. There was nothing more I was trying to indicate. I deeply regret this terrible misunderstanding. I never meant to hurt a soul, and I assure you that I am no friend of racists or white supremacists. I removed the post because the comments were more than I could bear. I stand by the statement itself, and you can find it reported in other media. I did, however, understand the fair criticism that I did not include a forceful condemnation of white supremacy in my initial statement. I hope my feelings on that matter are clear now." The correct response, sir, would have been to initially post on Facebook that there's obviously a severe mental health crisis in this country and that hundreds of thousands of people are hallucinating that your obviously innocent gesture is some secret code and that these people need to be put into mental institutions. And you violated one of DICE's rules, which is never apologize when you've done nothing wrong, only to appease the social media mob. And if you do, then you deserve to be canceled. At this point, we might as well start tweeting.
All right, that's where I want to end it. Did a little thing where I clicked on my subscribe button now my lips aren't even going to match my mouth, which apparently I need to reset my computer because now I'm going to be talking like a Japanese dubbed movie for the rest of this stream. But thank you very much for everybody who stopped by. Thank you to anybody who's on DLive right now. I appreciate you guys very much. Unfortunately, there's no descriptions below on DLive, but for those here on YouTube, there are descriptions. If it's your first time, please check them out. We have all the causes I believe in and support. That's the GOA.org, I believe. That is Gun Owners of America. They're going out and trying to protect your gun rights the legal way. And they have had some good wins with the whole bump stock issue, so they've definitely have my support on that. We have ProjectRecover.org. It's an organization that goes out and looks for lost service members and returns their remains to their families. A wonderful organization. And definitely would encourage you to donate to them. And lastly is my good friend Irish USMC vet. He's got a GoFundMe started called Rally Point Irish, where he's trying to get a location in Tennessee started where vets can stay room and board free while learning a new skill like farming, blacksmithing, and gunsmithing. Half of all proceeds from this channel go directly to that charity, to that GoFundMe. We are 100% demonetized. However, if you want to support the channel with your hard-earned money, there are ways to do so in the descriptions down below. None of them are obligation, do not feel obligated. However, if you want to, those are the ways to do it. If you want to support this channel without spending a dime, though, liking, commenting, subscribing, and the biggest one, though, is to share it with anybody you think would like this kind of content. What's up, Guns Coast to Coast? Watch out for that government. Stay safe. Hell yeah, man. Thank you very much for showing up and lurking. I really do appreciate it. Other than that, we also have all the places you can follow me. I have a backup YouTube channel. I'm on Gab. I'm on DLive currently. So if I'm all of a sudden not on here, check me out on DLive. I'm on Rumble for videos, which I haven't uploaded any in a long time, and Twitter. Now I want to have one more announcement. I should have said this at the beginning, so please don't go just yet. One last announcement is we will not be having a evening catch up on Wednesday. No evening catch up on Wednesday. Sorry about that. but this Wednesday, a good friend of mine is having a stream, and they really want me to be there watching it and supporting them. And I'm going to do that. So this Wednesday, we will not be having an evening catch up. Instead, I will be watching a friend of mine on Twitch do a stream. In fact, thinking about this now, if you guys are interested, maybe we could all go over there and watch and support. So if you would like to help support a friend of mine on Twitch, she's from England. Her name is Queen Seda. And she's going, I think she'll probably be streaming Jackbox Party Packs. It's a game. But they're her and her boyfriend, I don't know if they're married. I don't think they're married. No, they are married. Her and her husband, Ryan, are really good people. And they've helped me a lot in the whole